Hi, I'm Vivian Harold. I am a mixed media artist. I'll be graduating with my BFA in photography and a minor in 3D studio. I am working on continuing my education onto my master's program. Life does tend to get in the way sometimes, and you get some really great surprises, and you get pulled in other directions. So we'll see what happens in the future. Um, I wanted to start off this presentation talking about my Inspired by Spirits. I really do love to create work that's in honor of someone, that is made specifically for someone, or that is in response to another artist's work. It may be that this takes some of the pressure off because it gives me a nice base to start with. It gives me a direction to go, gives me a way to get some of my questions answered. Another thing that I'm inspired by is artists that make things that I don't think I could accomplish. While I enjoy abstraction and carte blanche, my production is much more controlled, and I find my own ideals and paradigms a little too restrictive when I'm working sometimes. Imperceptibility is a big thing in the art that I'm inspired by. I like things that are visual tricks, that play brain games. I like photorealism and painting and drawing. I enjoy photographs that are taken of very large areas or very small things. And when you can't really tell what you're looking at, the visual textures that are there in those images are really attractive to me. Michael Kenna is my favorite photographer, and what I like the most is that I can't tell if his worlds are tangible or imagined. I feel like I could step right into so many of his photographs, and time stands still for him. And I've never been into landscape photography myself, but I'm open to it should the opportunity ever come around to travel and take pictures. A lot of my personal work that I do unabashedly, that has no parameters, and I just make something that I enjoy making, is usually similar to these three pieces. Mark Rothko's color bar, Mark Rothko's color blocking is just two fields of color, or it's a sunset over a river. And Rauschenberg's white paintings are two different things. They're just everything and nothing all at once. Richard Serra is my favorite sculptor, and this is an image that he took of studio remnants of dust and particles collected after some of his works were created. And I like that he stopped and took that picture and recorded that moment, because the visual texture there was so much to look at. Freedom of expression is something that I look for when I'm looking at other art. That's something that always tends to attract me when I see somebody that's doing something that isn't on the nose, that isn't blatantly expressing what they want to say. I get a lot of inspiration because I feel like some of my work can be kind of blatant and on the nose, and I look at these artists and think that this is the work that I want to be seeing so that I can continue to grow in that space. Keith Haring, when he painted the Berlin Wall, I remember the adults, I was a kid, and the adults were talking about how it was such a waste of money to send an artist over there. It was a waste of money to put art on the wall. And I remember thinking that there was so much more value than they were seeing. And that may have been the first time that I really thought I could grow up and be an artist of some sort. Um, Floyd Newsom's Dreams of the Next Life and his Project Row House's work is very attractive visually to me, because it's a mess, but it's also it's also containing every little bit of the life that I recognize, the noise and the neighbors and the houses and the children playing. These two artists have had their influence over me at a young age. Papercraft is another big proponent of my art. That's one of the reasons why I want to continue to push my research in sculpting photography, sculpting photographs. I do enjoy working with paper. I like installing large scale with paper, and I'm really anxious to see what the future holds with me with this medium. And papercraft goes back a long ways, and I really enjoy all three of these main cultures and the way that they treated papercraft, the way that they treated an ordinary substance as if it could be so much more. And that leads me to give a little more respect to the medium. And I find that I get a little further when I do that. Bert Simmons, he's a new artist that is sculpting with photographs, with printed paper. I don't know that I will work in a portraiture style as he has, but I do enjoy watching his process videos. I enjoy the way he gives himself permission to leave the lines in, and I'm sure that his work will have some notes in my work. Kara Walker is also a really great papercraft artist, and she sculpts on large scale, and a lot of her work is similar to mine, although the angst that she deals with is cultural while the angst that I deal with is personal. I really do like how she's able to put a fun, playful spin on it, and it leaves you wondering if you should be offended or not. Not necessarily something I want to see in my own art, but I do enjoy it in Kara Walker. She said, I knew I wanted to be an artist, but I didn't really know what it was I wanted to say. And those words resonated with me for a lot of years, mostly all this time that I've spent at SAM. And I'm thankful to say that I may have finally found a direction. Big installations and experience-based installations are where I'd like to go with my work. I love the idea of playing with lights and shadows and allowing people to move in and around, as well as having things people can physically interact with. And so I'm really looking forward to how I can add some whimsy and fun to my large-scale installations during my master's program. Another big part of what inspires me and a style that you see a lot in my art is design elements. This is Cyril Lancelin's Town and Concrete, and this is a big, huge, beautiful sculpture that I could just imagine myself crawling in and out of. And I am struck by the size of it as well as how simple the details are, but how a bunch of simple details then create something that has so much more character. Tom Dixon is a furniture and lighting designer that I have caught myself wanting to buy his products, his geometrical shapes, his repetition, his grand scales. It's all beautiful work, and I do consider him to be an inspiring artist. I don't think anybody gets to where I am with my art and admitting that it can be a little constraining and concise at times without having a lot of respect for Frank Lloyd Wright and the way he balanced a freedom of materials with the very exact math. And the other way that I find myself inspired is by studio practices. I have found that I feel like I could be Andy Warhol, kind of letting it all go and getting lost in the whimsy of working in a big studio and doing a million different projects and a million different materials at once, and kind of really letting it flow from deep inside. And so Andy Warhol is a influence over my artistic life as well. Okay, I think that's it. Looking forward to questions. Thank you.